Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host Stasis, and this is StarCraft 2 Fight Night, presenting a best of 3 Protoss versus Protoss here in the Korean Star League, week number 26. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He is our red Protoss player, fighting for Dragon Kaizi Gaming, based out of South Korea. It is herO. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, also based out of South Korea, and fighting for Twisted Minds, it is Classic. Apologize for the pause there. I was trying to find the team name here. I had the stats written down, but silly me did not have that ready like I should always do. So apologies for that pause there. We've already got a little bit of a probe mating dance here. herO's probe just a little bit too shy at the moment, but could be warmed up to it. So long as Classic plays his cards right. herO also, well, both of these players opening up single gate, single core as well, and doing a relatively good job of blocking both of their naturals. Classic finally will commit with a pylon, and herO will also place down his own pylon. Sort of the gentleman's agreement in PvP. I pylon your natural, you can pylon mine. Well, not so much can, more as, well, you've got to now. Classic, though, both of these players are going to open up with Stargates, and both of these players have seen this information as well. So potential there to open up with a wide variety of units here. Obviously, the composition on everybody's mind is mass Phoenixes here. But again, does not always lead into that. And here we have the first change up in these two players' similar paths. herO going to opt to open up with an Adept, whereas Classic, perhaps a bit more defensive, opening up with a Stalker first. Classic does have to be on point here with his pylon blocking. We'll see the Adept shade, so already is very much aware of what is coming his way here. And fortunately, though, will not have the capacity to block off his main ramp here, as he's got no buildings. With the one Adept, however, it is a little bit less dangerous, but with no units, actually, the Adept does have some time, and Classic going to be forced to pull probes here, and this Adept going to be forced to fight itself out of a surround, or maybe it's just content staying here all day as it continues to tee off against these units here. herO, though, has 2 units of his own to deal with here, as Classic has sent his Stalker and his Zealot across to the other side of the map, and 2 Phoenixes for herO as well pop out. Number going to be going up to 3. We'll be able to help out in the defense here, but at the same time, Classic's Oracle also about to get some probe kills. Shield Battery will be able to save them for a little bit, so opting for the stasis instead. Do we have the pull away? No, we do not. herO has many of his probes stasised up here, and he will take an economic hit for the time being. Both of these players already exchanging blows early on, and you can see there just the hit that herO is taking with the stasis here. Classic, for a good amount of seconds here, had essentially double the income. Now here again, full sending it across the map here with the Phoenixes, and I don't think Classic has enough units to deal with this. He's got an Oracle, but Oracles cannot shoot straight across from them. They can only shoot down. herO now looking for some more probe kills, just going to get a scout off into the main base. 2 Oracles now, excuse me, into the main base of herO. Trying to get some more worker kills. Already that number up to 6. The single Phoenix alone trying to hold off the assault from these Oracles. The DPS simply is not there, though. Gonna wait, or gonna need some more Phoenixes and a Stalker to join. Finally, Classic will lose an Oracle here, but not before again taking the lives of 10 probes with them. And herO again just content scouting around Classic space with these Phoenixes. Wants to get the count up before he starts laying into the worker count here. Classic not too far ahead of herO in the worker count, up to 32. herO, though, catching up to him, is probing up. And behind this as well, herO has dropped a robotics facility. This Oracle, again, coming back in, already has 3 kills. And no shield battery here. We do have a shield battery. Probes are going to be pulled there. A little bit of lost mining time. This Oracle really taking its time choosing which base to attack into. Finally, though, these Phoenixes will have something to say about that, as that Oracle will go down here. And behind this, Classic opting for Blink. Blink already on the way. herO, though, opting for a much more Phoenix-intensive style here. And again, once that Phoenix count is at a relatively high number, it can be extremely difficult to deal with. Classic going to need to rely on his defensive prowess here. Stalker 1 already getting picked up, though. Stalker 2 soon to follow here. We do have a shield battery, and we do have more Stalkers warping in, though. And with Blink finishing up, they may have a better fighting chance here against these Oracles. Against these Phoenixes, excuse me. Phoenix gonna dive into the main mineral line. No units here positioned for Classic. He's okay. Just losing a good handful of workers there, 6 to be exact. Both of these players now exactly even, almost even in the worker count. Classic gonna send it across the map, also getting a super pylon here with the gateway, the forward gateway. herO does scout it, and again, just trying to shave off those stalker counts. I am concerned for him, though. Once these Phoenixes run out of energy, they essentially will not be helpful in the defense, but with an Immortal on the high ground, this does look much more difficult for Classic to break. If Classic can get a War Prism perhaps across the map, or some kind of vision, we may be able to blink into the main base here. That doesn't seem to be the play right now. Classic going to be forced to recall home as these Phoenixes again made their presence known in the mineral lines of Classic. He just cannot catch a break here from the harassment. Does lose a Phoenix, does herO. And does still want to keep these Phoenixes alive. They still have a purpose in this life. That forward gateway was canceled there by Classic, so not able to use that to launch any more offensives. And herO now finds the pylon. Supply blocking Classic there just a little bit. That will be quickly remedied, though. And herO now just moving into Immortal Phoenix here. And Classic behind this getting a 3rd base. That is his one saving grace. herO opting for getting more higher tech units here, and Classic wanting to play the economic game. Also trying to skirt around with these Stalkers and maybe see what free damage they can find. At the same time, though, herO's Phoenixes are swooping in again for some more probe kills here. These Stalkers will find themselves against herO's ground-based force here. Do we see another recall? I don't even think that's an option on the table here. Does Classic simply go all the way back home? That may be the case here if 6 more probes have fallen. And Classic, I think, not sure whether to commit to an assault or go back home and commit to the defense. I think, though, he's deciding now to finally just pull the trigger and full send it while these Phoenixes are across the map. herO has to be careful, but I do think he has the units here, especially with 3 Immortals. This is going to be more than enough to handle these Stalkers. It's the Sentries and the Zealots here that may be the deciding factor. Here we go. Force fields already go down, trapping a couple of the Immortals. No Immortals have gone down yet. herO blinking forward, wants to assert his dominance against these Stalkers, and Classic is forced to tap out. herO will take game number 1. And we are underway here for game number 2 in this best of 3 Protoss versus Protoss between herO and Classic. herO able to secure the first game victory as a result of damage done through his Phoenixes. Was able to inflict a lot of probe losses. Both of these players in the early game actually trading out probes. Classic opting for the Oracle-based harassment, and herO, of course, opting for Phoenix-based harassment. It was herO, though, who was able to edge Classic out in the probe kill count, and was actually able to force Classic into a sort of all-in there. with Blink Stalkers. Unfortunately for Classic, herO was waiting for him with plenty of units at his side of the map. 3 Immortals were more than enough to secure the dub there for herO. This time, both of these players opening up double gateway here on the high ground. So we're already going to see a bit more committed gateway harassment, gateway-based defense. Classic does have a sneaky little probe hidden in the corner of this map. We'll look to place down a pylon here, perhaps. That will be the case. herO, in classic herO fashion, has his probe, just being as annoying as possible in the mineral line here, trying to force Classic to just spend more attention, spend more time on these mining units here. Second gateways for both of these players have just finished up, and I'd be interested to see what the tech choice is going to be after their first initial units, both opting to go 1 Stalker, 1 Adept. That goes for herO and Classic. No structure here placed on this pylon just yet. Could be just a spylon, could be just for a rather basic naked warp-in point or Classic. Remains to be seen. Probe finally will get chased out of the base here, as both of these players again churning out more and more gateway units. herO already sending it across the map with his Adept, with a probe it looks like. Do we have the Stalker joining as well? Stalker has remained home. herO is working on 2 more Stalkers here. Classic, for his part, has opened up with multiple sentries here. 2 is the count for Classic. Sees the first Adept Shade. Do we have a block off on the main ramp? No, we do not. It is just the 1 Adept, but still able to get a lot of damage done. Gets actually the probe surround, does Classic, and that's actually a pretty clutch reaction there for Classic. That Adept only able to get 2 probe kills. Could have been much worse there. Do fancy the reaction there from Classic, as herO continues to send units across the map. Wants to get some more work done, but upon seeing these 2 Stalkers, 2 sentries, will immediately turn tail, go back home, call an ambulance. But not for me, says herO, as more Stalkers are joining the fray. I think Classic's position, though, is more than holdable here from a defensive perspective. Gonna take a bit more commitment out of herO, and that's exactly what we're seeing here, as 2 more Adepts, 2 more Stalkers are gonna be joining the fray here. Classic got to be a little bit careful. Does have a shield battery in the back, and again does have sentries as well. Classic also working on a robo facility. herO has his done already, and actually has a robotics bay done. Classic splitting up his units here, send some units back into the main base, and now going to be forced to deal between these 2 Adepts and these Stalkers right in his front yard here. herO laying on the damage here, does not commit to the Adept Shade, wants to just take it all here and now in front of the natural base of Classic. Will be forced to back off, but only for the moment being, as herO likely will be warping in some more units here. Do we finish the Adept Shade? Do we give Classic the runaround? No, we do not. We're going to commit forward. Overcharge is popped. herO forced to back off again. I do like the defensive play here from Classic so far. Going to be chasing off these units as well. I think definitely we will see the Adept shading forward. No, we do not. Bamboozled me. herO playing it a little bit more cautious. Wants to, well, looks like he's just going to go back home. Classic able to posture up enough here to ward off herO, and now with an Immortal in the natural base as well, I think that does shut down any potential aggression for the next few moments at least. herO just continuing to get some scouting information with these observers and with the Adept Shades here. As the Adept actually completes the Shade in the natural base. Will not grab any additional kills though. herO also working on his own Immortal count. And both of these players, it is herO up with the higher gateway count. And I was confused there. It says herO has 1 Nexus. Well, that's because the second one is just about to finish up. Classic has already been mining from his main, from his natural expansion here. Has enjoyed a decently sized income lead that will be closing soon as Classic actually finds this War Prism. This War Prism will go down with an Immortal in it. That was a great pick off there from Classic. herO does find himself down there, and that is not a loss you can be comfortable with taking. It's not game ending, but it does blunt a little bit of the steam that this attack has, as Classic is able to snipe down both Sentry, this Immortal trying to get the damage it needs, but it is Classic outnumbering herO, and it is Classic powering forward, trying to end this game 2 here and put a point up for himself on the board, and herO looks like he will tap out. Classic ties up the series. We are underway here, ladies and gentlemen, for the third and final match between these two Protoss Titans. It is herO in the red and Classic in the blue. Classic able to tie up the last match. herO losing a Warp Prism with an Immortal inside of it as he was trying to sneak into the main base there. Again, risky play by herO, he's known for that. And did end up losing those 2 units. As a result, herO's attack that he was trying to put together was blunted. Classic just had more units in the middle of the map ready to meet herO. And the resulting fight forced herO to tap out. And again, that does tie these 2 players up, as this is a single elimination tournament. The stakes are a little bit high right now, as this is for essentially completing the tournament. This is for advancing forward. herO placing down a second gateway, Classic as well, up to 2 gates. herO, though, has a sneaky little probe. We'll be placing down a pylon here. And both of these players, as we've seen in this series, fond of the proxy pylons, but I think in general PvP, having a pylon outside of your main base is, in general, can be a very helpful thing to have. Almost loses the probe there. It does Classic. This probe will limp home, as it is extremely damaged, but has a lot of bravery, has a lot of heart here. Gonna dive back in for a second look just to see if these gateways are actually producing units. Does confirm that. In this case, it is going to be a Zealot and an Adept. I think Classic may also be aware that there's something out on the map that shouldn't be there. In this case, it is a Stargate. Classic, luckily for himself, either blindly or because he had a hunch, also starting his own Stargate. And we'll actually finish up before herO's Stargate here. So Classic will have the opportunity there to produce perhaps maybe a Phoenix for some defense, or an Oracle to get some own harassment going for himself. Already a Stalker out for Classic, an Adept and a Zealot out for herO as well. Classic is getting up his natural base established. This Adept will be able to get in. The pylon block unfortunately was not there. Don't think this Adept will be getting all that much damage, as the Stalkers will be there to thwart that off. Classic, though, knows there is something up, is desperately searching everywhere. Will we see him finally uncover the Stargate here? Does not, just, well, I was going to say barely misses it, but actually misses it by a fairly decent margin there. Although now, with the Oracle, does the Oracle see? It does not. Classic missing every angle, every opportunity here. Unfortunately, herO did send his Oracle in. Did we get any kills with it? We did not. I do believe the Stalkers here were able to zone it out, keeping Classic's worker count intact. It is now Classic's turn to try to get some probe damage on the map. Is herO a little bit late with the Stalker Warp, and maybe not late, but not as fast as Classic was. Well, Classic does end up losing the Oracle. That is a notable difference. herO still has his Oracle on Classic's side of the map. We'll be forced to recall them out, though, as Classic has a Phoenix here and will effectively shut down this pressure before it gets started. Both of these players exchanging decent blows here, countering the other precisely. And Classic as well has his own pylon, more of a spying pylon here, just to see any Stargate units lurking around the map, lurking around the edges here. Classic continuing to search for proxies. Thought he may be wanting to take his third base there. I don't think that would be wise at this moment, and I think Classic is aware of it as well, as these Stalkers will come in and actually leaving the shield battery undefended. Is Classic finally will be able to pull forward and able to save it, but more units are coming across the map here. We've got the 2 Oracles, we've got the 2 Adepts as well. herO may have an attack ready to pull together here. We'll send the Stalkers home, and just going to rely on the multi-prong harassment here from the Oracles and the Adepts. And I like this, the stasis traps on both of the expansions, the 3rd and the 4th base respectively, will delay any expanding here from Classic. These Adepts do not complete the shade. There were just enough Stalkers there to introduce some doubt in herO's mind. Another spine pylon here on the edge for herO. Excuse me there. And herO will take his 3rd base before Classic does. A little bit notable there. You typically assume Classic will be the first of these 2 players to want to macro up. In this case, though, it is herO. So far, both of these players relatively equal in army supply. It is Classic with a single Phoenix. Again, gonna be a great tool against those Oracles, those double Oracles that herO went into. Behind this, also working on Phoenix, on Blink, is both of these players. Classic, though, his Forge was started a little bit earlier. He's gonna have access to those upgrades a little bit faster than herO will. Also has a Robo reducing an Observer here in Classic now, finally going to take care of the proxied Stargate that was on the map. He knew about it, it just took him a little bit to find it. herO, though, I don't think is too fussed, as he was done producing units there. Oracle's gonna move around the top side of the map here, try to sneak in and see what damage they can find. Classic, though, 3rd base is about to pop out. herO has had his up and running for a little bit, so we'll enjoy a bit of an economic lead here. This Phoenix will scout these Stalkers moving in, and this Spying Pylon as well will scout these Stalkers as well. So Classic all over this already, preparing his defenses and actually going to meet the enemy here as this Phoenix picks up 1 Stalker. The rest do blink forward, grab another Stalker here. So herO just losing 1 Stalker in that engagement, but overall this match has lost decent more number of minerals than Classic has. As he is going to commit now to the Oracles here, but Classic in perfect position to zone it out. Meanwhile, the main body of herO's force moving forward, blinks forward, grabs a Stalker, grabs a second one, completely catching Classic with his pants down, not able to out DPS the shield battery there, although it does grab a 3rd and final Stalker before going back home. Great little pickups there from herO, who is able to get his own Stalker kills on the board there. Do not blink is the mantra here in this PvP match. As herO now trying to consolidate more of his forces and putting down more stasis traps here. Will we see another blink forward? Gonna be enough units to zone Classic out there. And opting for the Zealots here, the charge lots, to try to tank for these Stalkers as well. herO, I think, wants to get Classic to walk into one of these stasis traps. Classic has to be careful here, has to get an Observer here. herO gonna blink backwards, catches all of these Stalkers. Now is herO's opportunity. He wants to get some damage done here. Another Warp in, though, I think will help Classic stabilize here until the rest of these Stalkers come online. Gotta be a little frustrating for herO, as he did have an opportunity there, but Classic, again, the defensive prowess was able to buy him some more time there, and catches this Warp Prism, though. Just able to live at the final moment. And no Phoenixes here for Classic, or for herO, excuse me. Gonna have to recall that one home, so it does save it. But Classic's attempts at some counter damage are going to be thwarted for the time being. herO, though, moving up to 4 bases. Classic as well doing the same. Looks like we're transitioning into a good old-fashioned mid to late game macro match here. Going to be down to the Stalkers, to the Charge Lots, to the Sentries for both of these players. Classic, though, has some High Templar as well. I do believe he has Storm No Storm. I think he just wants to use those for feedback on the sentries here, or maybe morph them into Archons. Another Stasis Traps captures another handful of Zealots there. These two Stasis Wards in the middle of the map won't be able to capture the Archon, as it is massive. Stasis Wards, unfortunately, do not capture massive units. I guess not unfortunately, it is, I think, a good balanced decision there. It's herO angling towards the other side of Classic's base setup here, and actually splitting up his forces, wants to get some double prong action going here. herO keeping Classic busy in the front, and again moving in with the charge lots in the third base here. There is a cannon to slow this assault down, but once these charge lots work through it, those probes are going to be exposed here. herO, though, again, splitting up his forces a little bit, wanting to bait Classic into the stasis traps. Can he do it? No, Classic is a little bit too wise for that. And with the 3 Immortals, though, this position is looking much better here for Classic, who continues to warp in more Archons here. herO is definitely on a clock here. See, I don't think he has the better army composition at this point, nor does he have the higher army count at all, actually. So is relying on the stasis traps there. Is herO going to commit to this fight? Both of these players popping Guardian Shield here. The Sentry's still in the front, but they're for herO. But now with these Immortals charging through for Classic, herO going to be forced to back off. The stasis traps do expire, so herO not even going to be able to rely on that, as he is going back home, tail between his legs. Classic is giving chase as well. Behind this herO, I think, going to finally move up into some disruptor production. Has to, as there's just too many bulky units here. Classic continues to press forward. Doesn't have a War Prism with this army just yet. We'll look to see that relatively soon, maybe. And Classic, I think, wants to angle to get some more damage. Smells an opportunity here. herO moving out with these Zealots. They're going to get picked up, though. I think herO wanted to get some counter damage done with them. herO does drop a 5th base down, and Classic moving forward to this exposed Robo facility. Even if the Disruptor pops out, I think it will get deleted instantly here, as Classic essentially splitting herO's forces up. There goes the Disruptor, and well, I think there goes herO's 4th base here, as unfortunately herO was just too boxed out of that position, and Classic also has a War Prism with this army, so going to be able to warp into this fight here. 1 disruption over, we'll move forward. herO, though, gonna need a lot more disruptors. Huge Charlotte counterattack, though, on the 4th base of Classic. Classic, though, doesn't care about that. He's gonna blink forwards here, trying to win the game. Does have the Archon count to deal with the Zealots of herO, and wanting to move forward in this tournament, wanting to knock herO out in this PvP, splitting up herO's forces. herO trying to blink backwards desperately, but with so many Archons in the front here for Classic, it is just too much tanking power. Classic, again, continuing to press forward into the natural base. Does have 2 Immortals with this army as well. herO trying to warp in more Stalkers desperately. The charge lots do come in here. There are still Archons here for Classic. herO may be able to do it, though. The target firing has to be there. Does he get that exposed Immortal here? More charge lots streaming in for Classic, and Classic with the Warp Prism Micro as well. Gonna power forward into herO's Stalker army. Another warp, and I think may just seal the deal here for Classic, or rather for herO. Oh, herO, though, using the attention of Classic's forces on his natural base here to actually get some decent pickoffs. Both of these players trying to warp in and out micro, the other with the War Prisms, though. It does look like maybe herO has enough here. Does lose his natural base, though. So even if he does clean this up, Classic gets the War Prism. Great pickoff there for herO, but as I was saying, herO is down to 2 bases. He's forced into an all-in position here in Classic. All he has to do is sit at home, defend, and this game and his tournament run will be secured for him. herO, do we just pump out more disruptors here? I don't even think he's got the facilities for that. So herO just gonna full send it across the map again. That is a scary amount of units that counter exactly herO's composition here. Archons and the Immortals as well. herO trying to find the engagement that suits him. Will blink forward, trying to pick up an Immortal here or an Archon. Does have a single Archon of his own, but with these Zealots surrounding the Stalkers here, herO's attack will be thwarted away, and trying to kite backwards, but it is simply not enough. Classic, I think, has secured this game. herO trying as he might is not out of it just yet. Trying to angle around, maybe find a different avenue of approach here. But the supply count is definitely worrisome for herO here. Both in army and workers. And trying to split up his forces is herO. Maybe by dividing and conquering, he can get some more damage done here, as these stalkers going to come in onto this fourth base here. Was destroyed by a charge lot counterattack earlier, and now these other charge lots are going to stream in. Will get picked up though by this Archon, by the cannon in the third base here, and herO moving in at the same time with this War Prism. It is all or nothing here for herO. He's got to get some game-ending damage done, and this may be his one and only hope, though. There's a warp in here of more Zealots, I believe, for Classic, and it's just a Zealot on Zealot engagement. Does look like Classic may actually lose this one. And this other Stalker attack on the third base of Classic was thwarted away. The Zealots actually cleaning up in the main base of Classic, at least until Classic's forces can return. And herO able to pick up 8 additional workers for himself. Does even out the worker count slightly here. 46 to 44 is the count for both of these players. Classic slightly in the lead there, but is it enough? This Classic has enjoyed an economic lead for a good 3 minutes now, I believe. And it is Classic's turn again to get his offense going here. Wants to move out onto that third base position of herO and actually chasing this War Prism and the charge lots here. What does herO have? He's got most of his units on the other side of the map. Has been able to actually drag out this game a little bit longer than I anticipated here. Although we'll lose the War Prism with all of these charge lots here. That's going to be a big blow, and I think we're just going to base trade here. Although I like Classic's chances a lot more here, as this army just looks way scarier than what we see here for herO. Handful of Stalkers, handful of Zealots, and an Archon. herO going to be forced to evacuate, and the base race continues here. Classic powering through to herO's second base, really his only mining base. herO as well going on into the natural. When these two players do finally meet, however, it is Classic's army, I think, that is just better. So it really is a race against the clock. Classic's army, I think, has the higher DPS count though as well. Only thing for herO is that he's right in the main base of Classic, so going to be able to work on the infrastructure, on the production of Classic first. Whereas Classic going to take a little bit longer to get into the main base here. I did not expect this match to end into a base trade, or I guess maybe that was foolish of me to not expect it, as both of these Protoss players extremely capable. And I guess it does make sense for the two best Protoss players in Korea to end their final match of the series like this. Classic going to be the first one to be revealed here, and herO has a lot of his units spread out across the map here. Still working on the main base is herO. Classic as well. And herO actually seems to be doing it here. I think he's got more structure spread out across the map. He will be revealed, however. But herO has several gateways, simulators, a Stargate across the map. Classic is rebuilding though, and this is the big difference. herO does not have the money to rebuild. He's going to have to outmaneuver Classic and really win this game off with the base trade. Classic, all he's got to do, I think, is just sit at home, his new home here, and defend, and try to wait for herO to come to him. This Classic really has no incentive to want to move out. He doesn't want to participate in the base trade. He knows he's got the better army. He says, herO, you come to me. And herO will be scouting forward, has the probes pulled. They're just going to get absolutely chunked by those Archons, though, as the rest of herO's army is powering through. This is for all the marbles, so herO has to full send it. This is going to be for his tournament life here. Here we go. Charge lot streaming in, trying to gun down the main base here. They're completely ignoring the army. Classic was caught a little bit off guard by that. He won't be able to save the main base. That is it. herO wins.